Hello everybody. This is my first video for Downland Crafts, showcasing their Sentimental Holly stamp range. Should have had it the other way around. Sentimental Holly. They're very handy little stamps if you just want a simple little card, or I'm just going to do a little bit more with it. Now, so when you have new stamps, you need to just be careful how you take them off. Okay, so you start and you just peel very gently, depending on how stuck they are, a little bit. These came off very easy now. So you just take off your stamp, lay it down upside down, and then using stamp pad, I have a few different ones. I won't be using a stamping platform today. I'm just going to use your ordinary stamp pad, okay? And that's how you adhere it. And it's in, and I've put it on a nice square position, but you don't have to. We can eyeball it, as they say. I'll just set that one to one side for a minute, because what I'm going to do first is make some paper. And sometimes you haven't got paper to match what you're doing or whatever. And this is a very easy way of doing it. So I used, just get this here. I used, which one did I use? Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas. So for the Happy Holidays, again, you can do it like that. Doesn't matter for this one. And I get my bit of paper here. So I always have a scrap bit of paper on the side. It's just handy. I might even have another bit separate. I just cut a bit off here. You'll see now in a minute why. Okay, so just going to use the Happy Holidays. I went through my inks and I found a couple that I liked in the colours. It's Tim Holtz Distress Ink, Barn Door, and Memento Cottage Ivy. They're two totally different inks, but you know, it doesn't matter for this, they'll work together. So for the Happy Holidays, I used the red one. Now you're supposed to tap it like this, but because we're just making, you need to have access. There's no particular rules. So you can keep it straight on, you can go side to side. So I'll just start there, okay? And we'll do one down here and one here. So just stamp how you feel. You can stamp off, and this is what you need your spare bit of paper for. Stamp off it. It won't matter now because I'm going to cut this down, so it'll be okay. All right, and for your spare bit of paper then, you can just stamp off your stamp, clean your stamp that way. Now I recommend cleaning your stamps afterwards, but for now that'll do, because if you're using it, it'll be grand. And then Merry Christmas. Again, lay it down, just pick it up. And for this one, I used the green. These are just small little stamps, so, and I just went at a slightly different angle. You can do it whatever angle you like. And sometimes I off, you know, the bit that was like a little ghost print, Merry Christmas, and I just come in there. Merry Christmas. Don't worry, it didn't come off right. I'm just, I'm going to go there, little shadow. You don't have to do a shadow. And if you want to do, if you think you have enough on it and you want to do another shadow, stamp it off and then just stamp it on like that. So stamp it off and stamp it in like that. And it just goes behind everything. Okay, we'll just put one here. Oh, it didn't even go in right. Nobody will mind because I'll show you what I'm going to do now. So you can continue that as big or as little as you like. I'm just going to stamp that one off. Put the one back on my sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to use this now afterwards. So I'm just going to take this in. I'm going to trim it down. I will trim it down a bit more, but I'm just going to show you. You see, when you trim it down, you have your, just going to take the white bit off the top. And hey ho, you've got, and you can continue that across your whole sheet and make it as big or as little as you like. Okay, so that's step one. Make your paper, a little bit of colored paper. So step two then, I'm going to, I just dropped a couple of bits I will need. Step two, I'm going to do the insert. Okay, and for this insert, I've just cut a piece of paper, ever so slightly smaller. Cut it down. I should have said this is an A5, not an A5, this is a 5x7 card. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut your insert. If you're brave, you can stamp on the inside of the card. I'm not. So you can cut a piece of copy paper or a little bit heavier. Mine is 120 grams, this one. I usually use 160, but this one happens to be 120. And when you fold it over, make sure that it comes, you see it'll peep a bit. Make sure it comes to the edge of your paper. Okay, so as I said, when you fold it over like that, you can check, pop it in, check that if it's a little bit long, trim it. When you open it, it will come in slightly. Okay, we won't worry about that, just grand. So on your sheet of stamps, you've got a little row of holly. They won't be as coloured as mine. I tried gold pigment ink on mine and it's left a slight stain. That's fine. It wouldn't worry about it. Lay your stamp down. Pick it up. Okay. And I'm just going to use the green Northern Pine Memento ink. And for this one, for the A5, I'm going to have to stand up. And I just lined it up along the side like so. Okay. Now, when you do that and you turn it back around again, you'll see that these two are going in the same direction. Okay, so what I did was I reversed the stamp and then stamped it, and I've just messed that up alongside. So I've got a shadow. And this is why I don't do it straight on the card itself. So back around, same. So we'll just reverse it. Pop it in there. There we go. Okay, turn it around. We'll put that one at the top. Ink up your stamp. This time we'll line it up like that. Press it down. I just usually give it a little rock. Don't squidge it too much. These are good stamps, so they don't need a lot of squidginess. So turned it around, lined it up along the edge, put it down, and just leave it long enough, a little firm press, leave it long enough to contact the paper. Okay, you can take a bit more time now than I am. Now, and that's your insert done. And if there is a little anomaly in it, it's handmade. You've made it yourself. Just going to stamp off my stamp. You can always also use that stamp as a background paper stamp. Now, I'm just going to take in my card, and you all know, or maybe you don't, that when you fold your card over, one side will have a little lip on it, and that's your front, the front of your card, okay? And it won't matter with this insert actually, because it's just the same on both sides. And I usually put either double-sided tape or a little glue along the edge. Pop it into your card, fold it down and just press it. And that'll grab there, and hey presto, when you open your card now, it'll pull. I always put it, because our card is going to be this direction, I always put the glue or the double-sided tape on the front of the card. And that means that when you open your card, the insert opens with it. Okay? Right, we have that done. The next job then, we have our paper done. We have our insert done. See, I did a better job on this insert. And now I'm going to stamp that little one. And piece of card for that, piece of paper for that. Here we are. So I put that on the thing earlier, the stamp pad earlier, and for this one I've used a Memento black, because I'm going to colour it with Pro markers. So you use a Memento, it dries quickly and it doesn't run. So I've stamped it into the corner of piece of paper. Like I said, firm pressure, but not too much. These stamps are grand, they don't squidge. Some stamps squidge, that's a technical term, and you know, you'll smudge your ink with it. But these stamp now really well, and that's only one application of ink. You can do it on a stamping platform if you wish, and I'll do that another day. But for today, I'm just using the stamp pads. Now, because I said I'd colour it with Pro markers, my poor old Pro markers have seen a better days. This one is slightly running out as well, so it's grand when you start. You've got a little bit of colour, but then it starts to dry out a bit. But I didn't do anything fancy. I just scribbled inside the leaf like that. As you can see, it's getting a little bit dry now, but I like that too, because it gave a little different shadows to the leaf, which holly leaves are actually shiny, so they will have shiny spots on them, right? So I continued in that fashion, and then I used this is just an ordinary thick and thin felt pen from United Office, and just coloured in the holly berries. Simple as that. Okay, so I continued like that, and I've lost the one I'd already done. Oh, here it is. Continued like that, and I cut out the square then, and have this done. Okay, and what I did then was I looked at the holly and I thought it needs a little line. So you can see I've done some of them. So I used a fine liner, and I just started here and just flicked up. It doesn't matter if it goes in a wobbly line, because holly is slightly curved. So that's what I did all over then, just to give it a little bit of life. Okay, So there's our square. We have our paper ready. We have our card ready with our insert. Okay, and what I did was I cut a mat of green. Now I decided to use the green. I tried the red behind it and it didn't quite pop. And I love traditional colours. So I cut a mat slightly smaller than my card. You can see there. Some people like a narrower mat. I make it a little bit wider. And I cut a white rectangle then, white piece of paper or card to, sit inside that. And again, you can have a narrower border or wider border. It's entirely up to you. And this is a, I don't know, hobby glue from Pentart. We don't want a big blob. Hobby glue from Pentart, or you can use Cosmic Shimmer or Art Glitter Glue. And they've all got fine nibs, fine tips, so you don't use too much. If you use too much, you'll find that your card buckles. So I just use a little square around and just a bit in the middle just to hold it. Lay it down on one side, and with the glue you can have a little bit of wriggle room. Time to move it into position. Okay. Now, so you can see the base of our card coming together there. Right, so if you haven't got, if you're not good on measuring, what you can do is give yourself a border like that, and using a pencil, just mark off where you need to cut. Okay, so I like working in centimeters and millimeters and what have you. But if you don't, just mark it off and trim it off. And there you have it. Stick that down to that. And like I said, you have wiggle room. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Some papers grab quicker than others. Yeah. So that's that bit done. So for this side, I've decided it's 4 centimeters wide. I like that border. You've got equal distance, roughly, on either side. So I need to cut this down then to fit that. So if that's 4, again, you can cut it at 3.5, decide where I like it. I don't like the bottom bit. Kind of like that there. And we want it 3.5 wide. If you make it wider, you can get 2 bits out of it. I just happen to know it has 3.5 there. Well, I hope it is now. And if it isn't, we can cut down our paper. Okay, so I like the bottom bit, like that. And again, you can do the same thing. Line it up and mark where you're going to cut it. So I've marked it there, but I'm just going to cut it that little bit under that so that I don't get my mark. Okay. There we go, and I like that now. So you can decide where you want to cut yourself, what looks good. And we're going to put a ribbon over it, so you know, if you haven't stamped it right or you're not that happy with it, you can, the ribbon will cover it. You see this, it's not stamped right there, but it'd be lovely. Just take that out of there now. And I have a bit of ribbon here cut to go over it. Now, do you see? It breaks it up and nobody's going to see it anyway. So I'm just going to use a little bit of tape on the back to hold the ribbon. Across the top there and across the bottom. Do you know if I'm on camera there or not? And of course, when you're wanting to do it, it doesn't cooperate fully, does it sometimes? So center it there, pop it over the top, catch it there, turn it around, over the top and catch it there. Okay, and then I'm just going to, on the original card, I put these up on foam. So some of you have seen my foam technique here. I've got a very sticky foam tape. You can have foam pads if you like. I have very sticky foam tape here. So what I do is I stick it onto some greaseproof paper. And why I do that is that if you pull out your foam tape and cut it, it's going to stick to your scissors. If you stick it down on greaseproof paper or parchment or any of those kitchen, you know, baking papers, then you're able to cut it without the scissors getting stuck. Okay, I'm just going to cut in big squares. You can buy big squares as well. Take that down there. Like I said, you can buy big squares as well, but you can make your own. Sometimes, you know, when you buy foam tape, it's very sticky. Take it off then and put one there and one there. I'm just going to get a bigger one. And you notice I put it over the edge of the ribbon, and that's securing the ribbon as well. Better turn it the right way around. So I'm just going to pop that there and decide then where I'm going to. So about that distance there. And I've just realized I haven't put a little sentiment in here. So we'll do that next. Now, just line that up there. Keep an eye down along the side that you're straight, or kind of straight. Right, so I just realized I didn't stamp the sentiment in here. So the original one was Happy Holidays. I love that because it's holly. Happy holidays. Just going to take, turn it the other way around. Happy holidays. I'm just going to catch that there. And what I've done is caught it on a line, so I'm able to line it up. But it's easy. It's very easy to line up anyway. I stamped this in the memento. I thought it popped out more. Okay, so give it a wee dab of that. Line it up over it. Just like so. Even Steven. Yeah, lovely. And again, your foam tape on the back of that. You don't have to, you can put it down flat if you wish. I put in the 4 corners and always put one in the middle. It's fine if you have solid card, but if your card isn't, you know, solid, it will sag in the middle. So just, now I've seen people putting glue on these as well to, you know, you get a little bit of wiggle room. But hopefully now I'll manage to get it on straight. Now, so that's the basis of your card done. I have a little bow here. I should have made the bow, but you'll see me doing it. I cut it, I put it across my fingers like that, and I cut it off the reel. You pop it through here, bring it up and over this one that's gone across, and bring it through the bottom. Give it a little tug like that. Take it off your fingers. My fingers are quite big, so I just usually, you know, adjust the bow then, like so. Pull that in another little bit there. Lovely. Cut your, I just realised I'm doing it off camera. I'm so used to putting everything to one side. So now I'm going in this direction. There we go. Could make them even, couldn't I? There we are. And you can use a glue dot or a hot glue to stick it on. I have neither here at the moment, and this is very sticky foam tape, so I'm just going to put it on the back. And popped it in the center like that. And then I thought it needed something more. It needed little gems. And I just remember the gems that I had bought actually from Downland Crafts. I think it was last year. And they're perfect because they look like little holly berries. They have no backing on them, unfortunately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's refusing to go back in. But they're ideal little ones for berries. And now, just happens there's a little bit of red tape here. I decided I'd put them here. I've tried them in a few different places. So whatever you fancy yourself. If you're feeling that you can actually pop them in the center of, if you have little gems, you could pop them in the center. They're quite nice on it too. Just play around. Some people like, I had tried 3 across the top like that, and 3 across the bottom. And sometimes a little nuisance, And then when I seen the 3 across the top and 3 across the bottom, I went, oh, I see holly, the little holly berries, to echo them. How do I get them in the middle? Well, you can measure it. What I did was made myself a rough measuring tool, the width of that. Folded it in half, like so. And when I laid it down there, I knew then that was the center. So I put a little blob, teensy weensy wincy blob of glue there. One there. Don't even squeeze it, just dab it out. That's perfect amount. And then I just leave them on the glue, they'll be grand. Same on the bottom then. Halfway. Now, there's other methods. I just thought this was very handy for me at the time. You can use a clear ruler so you know exactly where you're going, and just pop them in there. Just give them a minute to catch, and there's your card. Okay, now I'll bring in the other one that I made, and on this one I had stamped the Happy Holidays in green, and I didn't like it. Didn't pop out as much. So if that happens, what I did was I didn't stamp the whole thing. I stamped the middle center section again, and I actually cut out the center bit there with the Happy Holidays on it, and I've stuck that up then on foam pads. Okay, just covered it. So that's another little detail. And then I thought I tried a pearl on either end, which was nice too. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go totally mad. And the couple that stamped out, when I stamped the center, I coloured them in, and I actually cut them out, and I put them on the ends. And I thought that's really pretty. So either way, you can go to, as much trouble as you like, or just keep it simple. So this is a simpler one, and it's just as effective. And if you stamp a whole section of that out, you can cut 3 or 4 or 5 of those out, 6 of those out, and you can make a whole little set to gift somebody. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for looking, and I'll be back with some more again.